Unit 13. What might have been. Page 86. Exercise 2. Conversation. He might have gone out. Part A. Listen and practice.
Didn't Tyler ask us to come at 7:30?
Yes, and it's almost 8 o'clock now. Why don't we ring the bell again? He must not have heard it.
That's impossible. We've been ringing the bell for more than 10 minutes.
He must have fallen asleep. You know Tyler has been working so hard on his new project.
Or he might have forgotten about our dinner and just gone out.
No, he couldn't have forgotten. I just talked to him about it this morning. Besides, the lights are on. He could have had an emergency. He might not have had time to call us.
Yeah, maybe. I'll call him and find out.
And?
He's not answering. Now I'm getting worried.
Page 86. Exercise 2. Part B. Listen to the rest of the conversation. What happened?
Look, there's Tyler coming down the street.
Hey, Tyler, what happened?
You won't believe how stupid I was. I came outside to take the trash to the garbage can, and I locked myself out. And worst of all, my cell phone was locked inside.
So that's why you didn't answer my call.
Yeah, and I couldn't call you because I didn't remember your number.
That's the trouble with smartphones. Nobody remembers anyone's number anymore. So what did you do?
I walked to the gas station and called a locksmith. He said he would arrive in about half an hour. He must be on his way. I'm sorry for all this. You guys must be starved.
Well, I brought some dessert. Would anyone care for a piece of pie?
Page 87. Exercise 3. Pronunciation. Reduction in past modals. Part A. Listen and practice. Notice how have is reduced in these sentences.
He may have fallen asleep.
She might have gone out.
Page 87. Exercise 3. Part B. Listen and practice. Notice that not is not contracted or reduced in these sentences.
He might not have had time to call us.
She must not have heard the doorbell.
Page 87. Exercise 4. Grammar focus. Past modals for degrees of certainty. It's almost certain.
He must have fallen asleep. He must not have heard the doorbell.
It's not possible.
He couldn't have forgotten about it.
It's possible.
He may have gone out. He might have gone out. He may not have had time to call us. He might not have had time to call us. He could have had an emergency.
Page 87. Exercise 5. Listening. What could have happened? Part B. Listen to the explanations for the two events in Part A and take notes. What did happen? How similar were your explanations? 1.
Last Saturday was a long day. We were going to my grandparents' 50th anniversary party, and we had to catch a plane at 7 a.m. We planned to get there early to spend time with my family. But during the night, we lost power, so our alarm clock never woke us up. We got up 2 hours late, missed our flight, and had to catch the next plane. We even changed into our clothes for the party at the airport to save time. It was a close call, but we arrived just when everyone was sitting down to dinner. I'm so glad we made it. But what a stressful trip.
2.
You wouldn't guess it from her size, but our little dog Sheba is really adventurous. She loves to play in our backyard and chase birds, but when we come home, she is always waiting for us by the door. But yesterday, when my daughter and I got home, we couldn't find Sheba anywhere. My poor daughter was so upset she couldn't stop crying. Someone must have left the back gate open, and she must have escaped. Luckily, my neighbor saw her running down the street and was able to pick her up. 10 minutes after we got home, she knocked on the door with Sheba in her arms. What a relief.
Page 88. Exercise 8. Perspectives. I'm going nuts. Part A. Listen to a person complaining about her family members. Check the response you think is best for each problem.
Last night, my sister borrowed my car without asking. She did call me a couple of times, but I was in a meeting and couldn't answer the phone. We had a big fight, and now we're not speaking.
She shouldn't have used your car without permission, no matter what.
You could have been more understanding. After all, she tried to call you first. My nephew is so inconsiderate. He called me at 3 a.m. to talk about his problems with his best friend, and I had to get up very early to work. I was really mad.
You could have told him that you had to get up early the next day.
Your nephew is always doing that. You shouldn't have answered his call. My brother came over for the weekend with his wife and 3 kids. They made such a mess of the apartment. I'll never invite them over again.
I would have asked them to help clean up the place.
I wouldn't have invited them to spend the weekend. Having overnight guests can be really stressful.
Page 89. Exercise 9. Grammar focus. Past modals for judgments and suggestions. Judging past actions.
You should have asked your sister to help. He shouldn't have used your car.
Suggesting alternative past actions.
You could have told her that you had to get up early. I would have asked them to help clean up the place. I wouldn't have invited them to spend the weekend.
Page 90. Exercise 11. Listening. What should they have done? Part A. Listen to descriptions of 3 situations. What would have been the best thing to do in each situation? Check the best suggestion. 1.
Hey, what's this? Wow, a gold ring.
Simon found a gold ring on a busy sidewalk. It looked like an expensive ring. He wanted to give it back to the owner, but he thought the person who lost it might return to look for it. So he left the ring on the sidewalk.
2.
No one is ever going to want to hire me.
Jana got fired from her last job because she was rude to a customer. She just applied for a new job, but she lied and said she had quit her last job. The manager called her old boss and found out what really happened.
3.
I trusted my boss.
Martin discovered that $1,000 was missing from the company account, so he asked his boss about it. His boss admitted he borrowed the money without permission, but he promised to return it next week. 3 days later, Martin's boss disappeared, and now more money is missing from the company account.